Alrighty, guys. So, one of the biggest surprises from Deadpool and Wolverine, at least before one of the trailers spoiled it, because obviously, they had to do that to get people in the theater. But anyways, one of the biggest surprises, sans the trailer, was the reappearance of Dafne Keen as Laura, aka X-23 from Logan. Whether or not she was the same version of X-23 as in Logan, it's hard to say. It seems that, with the multiverse, you could just say it was either the same universe or a very similar one. So anyways, it was really good to see her because Logan, one of my personal favorite comic book movies, she was a revelation in that film. And to think that she was so young when she did that film and yet gave such a heartfelt performance, especially in the scene where Logan, spoiler alert for Logan, is dying, it was remarkable. And so to see her back as an older version of Laura was really awesome. So then, we went along the film, we were watching the film, and most of the people there got left in the void, Gambit, Elektra, Blade. But then, at the end of the movie, well, she was there in, I don't remember exactly what Earth it was called, but, Deadpool and Wolverine's Earth, the X-Men universe Earth. She was there. She was just hanging out. And so the speculation then became, okay, so she's still around. Is she going to show up? Because one would assume that if and when Deadpool shows up again, and I'm going to assume if and when Wolverine shows up again in Secret Wars, they're probably going to come from that universe, right? And then if they come from that universe, it probably means that, well, she's going to be there. So is she going to show up again? So recently, Dafne Keen was doing an interview with The Direct, one of the movie news websites, and she gave a couple quotes here about whether or not she'd be interested in a future appearance. And then, what that might potentially look like. So there are a couple quotes here that I'm going to read out here, and then we'll talk about that. So when she was asked, so she's basically being asked first if she would like to see Laura return. I'm just going to read from The Direct. Keen wants to, quote, see her in a fun team up. So this is the full quote here that Dafne Keen made. Quote, I would love to see her in a fun team up rather. I would also love to see Laura in smaller stories as well. I enjoyed playing her in Logan, which was much more grittier, so that's fun. But I'd also be very, very open to a big whole action fight team up with the Avengers. Okay, very interesting. And then her next quote, so The Direct asks her, there's this theory that after Avengers Secret Wars, there's going to be a reset in the MCU, like a rearranging of characters. And after Secret Wars, fans want you to be the Wolverine in the MCU. Sorry, Hugh Jackman. And Dafne Keen responds, quote, well, can we both, Laura and Logan, be there? Yeah, okay, good. If we're both there, I'd be really happy. The Direct responds, would that be an exciting prospect? And Dafne Keen responds, wonderful, yes. Honestly, anything that involves Laura, I'd be down to do. Okay, so couple things here, right? Because there's nothing concrete. It's not like Dafne Keen came out and said, well, you'll have to wait and see, summer 2026, just wait and see, and you might just see, Laura return. It's not like she did anything like that. There's no explicit tease here that she's going to be in any future X-Men movies or anything like that, and she's going to be the future Wolverine. I highly doubt that she's going to be the future Wolverine. I think that she, there is some possibility, sure, that she could return to be the MCU's X-23 or version of Laura. Is her last name Kinney? Laura. Anyways, Laura from, the clone of Wolverine. And that's great. I'd be really excited about that. But because Wolverine is such a recognizable and iconic character, I do wonder, if Marvel would want to just recast their own version of James Logan Howlett if they wanted to do that. That's Wolverine. And in terms of Hugh Jackman coming back, I know there are reports and rumors going around that Hugh Jackman wants to play Wolverine until, he's actually 90, like the joke in Deadpool and Wolverine says. I don't see it. I think that if Marvel is going to do X-Men, they really would want to restart. There might be a couple exceptions, maybe Channing Tatum, maybe Dafne Keen. But I look at these comments here, and there's a willingness, right? Dafne Keen seems like, yeah, I definitely want to do an Avengers movie, and I'd love to see Hugh Jackman. But actually, it's because she's saying all these things that I actually almost don't think there are any plans for her to do anything. Because think about it. If she was actually going to be doing these things, then I think it would either be a much more flat denial, like, oh no, definitely not. I would not, be doing those things. Like, yeah, that'd be fun, but I'm not doing those things. Or it would be a more explicit tease of like, oh, maybe that's definitely something that could be happening in the future. What I'm reading into this, and I am very much reading into this, but what I'm looking at here is basically Dafne Keen being asked, wouldn't it be fun if, and of course, anybody who would be in Dafne Keen's place, but just anyone in general would be like, oh, of course. When she's asked, oh, would you want to be Hugh Jackman's replacement? She's like, well, I just like Hugh Jackman, right? And she doesn't even answer the question. So again, there's a lot of ambiguity here. And honestly, this could be just a whole lot of nothing. But I thought it would be a fun, few minutes just to discuss the fact that would we want to see Dafne Keen return? And I think the answer is absolutely yes. I mean, I think Hugh Jackman's coming back for Secret Wars. I have no doubt about that. But, if Hugh Jackman's coming back and if Ryan Reynolds is coming back, which we all assume is going to be the case, just based on, what happened to Deadpool and Thor, right? That has to pay off at some point. But, if those things are going to happen, then yeah, I think it's very likely that Dafne Keen comes back. Whether or not she is the Wolverine of the MCU, I have my doubts. I really do. But guys, let me know in the comments down below, what do you make of Dafne Keen's comments that she'd love to be in the Avengers, which I think she will be. I think she'll be in Avengers Secret Wars. But also, when asked about, are you going to be Hugh Jackman's replacement, she just kind of responds, well, I'd love to just be in a movie with Hugh Jackman again. Let me know in the comments down below.